You or someone you love needs help for an addiction. Where do you turn? Foundations Recovery Network offers individualized treatment for the whole person. Our goal goes beyond short-term sobriety. We address substance abuse and co-occurring mental health issues together, providing a firm foundation for long-term recovery. The first step is often the hardest, but we're here with a free assessment, insurance information, and treatment options. Our confidential helpline is available 24/7, so call 877-714-1318 and discover the Foundations Recovery Network difference today.
You're listening to Our Dad's Podcast from San Diego, California. Straight edge for life, son.
Yo, what's up? Thanks for tuning in today. Thanks to Humans for bringing us in, and thanks to you for supporting the show. Welcome to Sober Guy Radio. If you were listening to the intro, we took a new song, Watusi, from the album titled Noontide of Humans. So they're always some good homies. So I'm always loving to, what's up, Brandon? Always loving to support those guys. So check them out. We're coming to you live from the Innovations in Recovery Conference down in San Diego, California at Hotel Del Coronado. Check us out at soberguy.com for past episodes, resources. You can also contact us there. Now, if you have any questions about whether you or a loved one may need help, you can contact Foundations Recovery Network at 877-714-1318. They have nationwide residential and outpatient facilities, and they can also provide a confidential assessment and review the best treatment options for you or your situation. One more time, that's 877-714-1318. We're talking with Janna Woodbury today.
Hello.
My friend from the Chadwick House. Yes, Janna, what's up? Thanks for stopping by today.
Yeah, no problem. I'm happy to be here again.
We're in the booth at the old conference center. There's a lot going on. All that noise in the background, people partying down, sober, talking, networking. It's pretty sweet, huh?
Yeah, last year we called it the Schmooze Fest.
We did. I forgot about that. The straight schmooze. It is. You know, there's a little bit of schmoozing involved. You know, It's all part of the game, though. Heck yeah. So how you been? I hear you're pregnant again.
With
Congratulations.
my fourth. Thank you.
Your fourth girl?
Fourth girl.
Unreal.
I make girls.
You make girls. I got to give your husband some mad props and respect right there, man. So you got 5 girls, including yourself,
Including
man.
myself, 5.
He's a brave man.
He is.
Keeps him in line, though, huh?
Yeah. It softens him a little
Yes.
bit, you know?
Yep. Well, I have Lucy and my wife, Jess, and man, the two of them, they're like a force to be reckoned with. I can't even mess with them. So I can't imagine having 5 of them, 5 Lucy and Jessicas.
No, you're next.
You think so? No way. We're done. Who knows? Unless God has another plan, like I said earlier, we never know. So I hear well, for those who haven't listened, I'll put this. I put the link in the show notes here. Janna was on last year at Innovations in Recovery, and that's Sober Guy episode 128. I'll put the link in the show notes so you can check that one out. But this year, you're back again, obviously, because you're sitting in front of me. So tell us, for those who haven't heard 128, who you are, what you're about. You're in recovery yourself.
I'm in recovery.
And then we'll jump into the Chadwick House.
So I just got 6 years in January.
Congrats.
Thank
That's
you.
legit right there.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I am the director of admissions at the
Let me have you
Chadwick
scoot up
House.
a little bit there.
Is this better?
Yeah, that's better. Pull it up there a little bit. There we go. Cool. Yeah, we got lots of
Can you hear me
background.
now?
There you go. That's perfect. Go ahead.
I'm the director of admissions at the Chadwick House, and it is an aftercare program for women. So I help other ladies find the path of sobriety and recovery.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
And congrats on 6 years. I think I said that, but in case I didn't.
No, thank you.
Yes, it's pretty sweet.
It's a big deal.
Well, you had your own journey, and it wasn't easy. I know we talked about it a little bit last time, and you were kind of in and out for a while, right?
So I got, not necessarily in and out. I had an intervention when my oldest daughter, who's 8 now, was 2. And then I was pregnant in treatment. Maybe that's
that's so
what
crazy. Yeah. When you said 2, so your daughter you mentioned, who's 2, we were talking before we started recording. She's 8 now.
Yes.
And she's like practicing. Would you say yoga or meditation?
No, she's teaching. So she's volunteering, teaching meditation to the children that went through the treatment center that me and her went through
At
together.
8 years old.
At 8.
And she's public speaking. You said she gave a presentation recently?
Well, she spoke at a fundraiser.
Of like 400 people.
Over 400 people.
It's pretty rad.
Yeah.
Recovery's doing some amazing things.
It is.
So talk about the Chadwick House a little bit. When we talked last time, you had one house.
One house.
And just to mention here, Brandon Stump just stopped by and gave you a hug. And
yeah, he's the best.
He's an awesome dude. We had him on before. And they started with the Ohio House, which is a men's, and they have like 10 or 15 houses now, or 17
13.
or something, 13, somewhere around there. They got a whole bunch of them, and they're doing some awesome things. And they branched off and created the Chadwick House, which is for women. So how's it grown since last year?
It's grown a lot. So the Ohio House opened in 2011 and have grown to what it is today. And then we opened a little over a year ago, and we have 4 houses today. So when we spoke last time, we had 1 house, and I don't even think we were officially open yet.
Yeah, it was the early stages for sure.
Early stages.
I'm going to scoot your...
Better?
There you go. Yeah. At different times throughout the conference, it's like you get louder noise because people are partying down and networking, and then sometimes when the people are speaking, they're in the room, so it's quiet and stuff.
Yeah.
So we're just making adjustments as we go. So how many women?
27.
Dang, that's crazy.
I know.
And how's that going? What are you seeing? Like, what are some of the things that is going on?
Well, working with women is challenging. It can be.
Yeah.
So far, it's been pretty good. We haven't had anything too chaotic happen. The good thing with aftercare is when they're coming to us, they're already in 30 days, usually of residential treatment, so they're able to stabilize. So when they come to us, we're just adjusting what their treatment process looks like, being able to more so introduce fun in sobriety. And so we have, on the Chadwick side, we're the sober living component.
Yeah.
And so we have a full schedule for them, structured.
So
they're doing things like cardio boxing, equine, surf lessons, body boot camp, volunteering. That's important.
Yeah, service work.
Service
for
work.
sure.
It's kind of like the root of what we do.
Yeah, what do you guys do for service work? Like, what's
soup kitchen?
Nice.
So feeding the homeless.
So you guys are out in the community a lot.
They go to the Lynn House, which is an indigent house for women, and volunteer, whether it's reading the big book or whatever it is.
Nice.
Giving back.
Yeah. So what is like, we're talking about some of the programs and some of the activities. What does like a normal day look like at the house or whatever?
Well, they need to wake up.
What time? Now you get to sleep till like 10, bro, and then you just wake up, go surf like all day, and come back if you're ready. Maybe you hit a meeting. No, it's probably not like that.
Well, our workout classes are usually at 10 a.m. So the hope is that they're waking up doing that chore because they're living in a community. It's important for them to be accountable, especially with cleanliness.
Yeah. Sure.
So they're doing their chore, going to the activity, and then they have their clinical stuff in the afternoon. So they're waking up. Oh, I've had some girls wake up at like 6:30, go to a beach meeting. Some of them like to sleep a little later. Some like to sleep past 10, and that's when we have to have a special conversation.
What's going on in there?
Yeah. But for the most part, they get in the swing of things and understand that structure, and waking up and starting your day is important, especially in sobriety, because we didn't do that necessarily in addiction. We just did what we want.
Yeah, we just did whatever.
Whatever.
All the time, anytime. Usually didn't turn out too hot either.
No.
Do you find that there's, or what's your opinion at least on the difference in like a women's house versus a men's house? And obviously you're not a man, you haven't been in a men's house, but you've been, your husband's in recovery, you're connected to the Ohio House, so I know that you see a lot of that stuff too. Like, how different is it for women in recovery?
I feel like there's a lot more crisis intervention. There's more of an emotional component for the women, which is okay, but it's a lot more maintenance in terms of that, being able to be consistent with how I'm communicating with them, letting them know that they're supported. It's having to validate and be that consistent voice of just neutrality for the most part.
Yeah. Is it hard to build trust there? Like at first, at least when they first, obviously I guess they've already been 30 days, so that probably helps. But what do you think about that? Like the relationship building?
I haven't had too many issues. Sometimes I do, but because I do the admissions piece, I'm on the phone with that client before they even come, explaining the program, and speaking to their families as well. And so I have that relationship with them before they even get here. And so that's why the consistency piece, as I mentioned, is important. Because they want to know who's on the phone. So making sure that when they do get here, I'm saying hi, they know who I am. And that helps with the level of trust.
Yeah.
But then I also have to be the bad guy sometimes. And
What does that look like?
contracts, restriction, if they're not doing what they're supposed to do, early curfew, just holding them accountable.
Yeah.
It's, that tough love approach, I guess you could say. So that does create some dissonance, naturally.
Yeah.
So I don't expect every girl that comes to me to be super peachy for their entire stay.
So how long is this stay? Like if somebody's, is there a certain time
7
frame?
to 8 months.
Oh, really? It's not long.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've had girls stay with me longer. I've
Really?
had a girl who is still actually with me almost a year now.
Yeah, it's pretty. So they're actually really building relationships, and you had mentioned fun too. I think that's a big thing. Like I know I probably would have got sober a couple years sooner. Well, possibly, who knows? But one of the hang-ups for me was like, how the hell am I going to have fun?
Right.
Like, what am I going to do? Because all I really know how to do to have fun is to like party.
Yeah.
So that's a huge part of it. And it sounds like you guys are like out doing all kinds of cool stuff. I mean, surfing, like who doesn't like surf, or who doesn't at least want to try it?
Well, yeah. And it's exposing them and reminding them to figure out what their passions are, because we lose sight of that in addiction. And so a lot of them, when they do come, they have that stabilized period of time, the stabilization. They start remembering a little bit more of who they are, or they're finding themselves again. And so being able to have the fun, the play time, I guess you could say, for us ladies.
For you ladies.
Yeah, it's playtime, wake up.
I just want to dance.
Yeah.
I just want to go dance.
They have fun.
My wife and I joke about it. I think it was like a Dane Cook skit, and he was talking about that, about how he's like, dudes, he's like, could you imagine if a dude was like, I just want to go dance, bro? And they started doing the lady thing. Anyways, I'll leave the comedy to him. I'm not that funny. But man, I totally just lost my train of thought now too.
Because you were talking about dancing. And
I know.
you're just so excited now.
I was a little bit too excited about dancing, and like I cannot dance. My wife can dance pretty good. She used to cut a rug. So I don't know. I mean, what else is going on in the world besides pregnant, Chadwick House,
fourth girl, Chadwick House? I'm finding myself to be surrounded by a lot of women, which I've come to the understanding that is my path, is to be able to support other women in finding their healing, I guess you could say, as raising my little ones as well with, different principles in their life, openly talking about their emotions and how to healthfully process whatever that is. That's been this past year. Just a lot of estrogen.
A lot of estrogen.
A lot of women.
No, that's cool. So what do you, what's one, if you can give an example or a story, and obviously you don't have to name names or anything, but is there one story that really stands out that you've seen like really come in and thrive in recovery, and just like maybe a point of almost hopelessness? And then I just want to give some folks like some inspiration out there to know that there's hope, and know that, you're not alone out there. There's a lot of people who've gone through, some really shitty things, and they're able to recover from it and get some help that they need. Is there something that stands out to you?
There's a couple ladies I can think that come to my mind. When I first get these girls, there is a huge sense of hopelessness. And you just see, it's like a shell of a person almost. They have an inability to express their emotion, even identify how they feel. They're just so beat down. And so with them being with me for, 7 months, plus I get to see them continue to find that path, find their light again. I've had a girl in particular, she got into FITM a couple months ago, which is the Fashion Institute school. Have you heard of FITM?
I was just going to ask you what it was.
You haven't heard of FITM? You gotta Google it. Look it up.
Google it. I just dance. That's all I do. That's it.
Right?
No, FITM, I haven't heard of it.
From podcast to dancing. That's your new path.
Dancing. Yeah, that's it.
I have another girl who's going to graduate from high school here in a couple months, and she's actually walking, getting her diploma. So being able to see that while they're in our care, and just in recovery in general, when you find somebody who finally understands their purpose again, and they put one foot in front of the other and make it happen, that's what I love, and that's why I do
what
I do. And there's stories like that everywhere.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Especially with being directly involved with the Chadwick House. I do get to see it pretty regularly. So
what's like the process out there? Like, let's say there's, someone out there listening or a mom maybe, and her daughter's really going through it right now. Like, what is the process from actively, drinking, using drugs, partying, to kind of moving your way into something, one of the houses in the Chadwick House?
Well, it's important to identify the problem. A lot of times there might be a girl who is suffering from addiction and there's not an understanding of what the actual issue is, or there's judgment on the issue. And that's enough to not allow someone to get help, is fear of what's going to happen. What are they going to think of me? It feels so impossible, and you already feel so hopeless, in your addiction. So identifying the problem by being able to communicate, hey, I need help. That's the first step, is somebody has to acknowledge that they need help and then be willing to accept the help. Yeah. I can't tell you how many times I have a family call me and they want to get their loved one into detox so bad, and I try to, call the person that needs help and they're not available, or, I have to go do this. It's just that first step, into being willing to get the help is huge. Yeah. And so if someone is willing to do that, then I can help them, and then they can come to the Chadwick House.
There it is. I love it. Yeah. Well, it does. I mean, it takes out a lot of the person, because there's a lot of resistance, right, in early recovery. So if they're not ready, then they're not ready. Like I deal with that with someone in my family who, love him, but he's living his own life. And it doesn't matter what I do or what anyone else does, like he's got to want it himself. Right. And so with the Chadwick House, you're kind of at a point where it sounds like a lot of the women that are in there, they want to be there. Like they want to get the help they need.
Absolutely. And that's what makes our community thrive. And that's something that I ask on the front end all the time is, are you willing to go to any lengths for your sobriety? Yeah. And they say yes. Yeah. And so granted, I know that there's going to be issues, when they come, and they might not want it some days. Totally normal, but they're willing to commit to being a part of a community, that sisterhood, that support, which a lot of us aren't used to or have really had before. And so they're introduced to that. It's a complete different lifestyle than what they're used to.
Yeah. There's a lot of isolation in addiction, so, and then you get thrown into, there's there's people around me, I gotta conversate and make friends and all that stuff, and then it's huge. We talked about community a couple times in the last couple podcasts, and I know for me that's been a huge part, being around people and environments that are healthy and positive, and people that bring me up and not knock me down. Or
that's the solution. It's a spiritual solution. Recovery, and for me ultimately that means a connection to something, person, place, thing, in a healthy way. And so that's what we offer, at the Chadwick House. And obviously they get introduced to other modalities that furthers their recovery process. But again, not everyone's used to something like that. Or they feel, and that's where the drama comes in, is they feel judged, or they're just whatever, you just never know.
Yeah, you never know what you're going to get waking up one day, huh? Yeah. Hey, that keeps it interesting, though, right? Otherwise, this shit would be boring. So, yeah. So, where if folks want to find out more information about the Chadwick House, or they want to reach out, how can they do that?
Chadwick-house.com. Pictures, has the layout of the structure. I think last time we did this, I gave out my cell phone number. Do you remember that?
I think I do.
I said, call me.
Did you get some calls or what?
I don't think so. I don't think anyone called me and said, hey, from this podcast.
Okay, cool. Yeah,
but I do have a lot of families that they're researching for their loved one before they come, and they're like, oh, I listen to your podcast. And I'm like, awesome. Oh, good. So it's been positive.
That's huge. Yeah. I get that, someone said they heard, who was it now? I'm trying to think. It was Jennifer Angier from Talbot Recovery. She used to be at Black Bear. She told me that there was 2 people from Hong Kong who reached out to her from the podcast we did in Nashville, I think, or something.
That is amazing.
Yeah, it was just so cool. All the way around the world, technology's freaking awesome. Yeah, it's pretty legit stuff. So, well, cool. once again, folks, I put the last year's episode 128 in the show notes. So you can check it out there. Go to chadwick-house.com for more information. And then, Janna, congrats on the baby again, too. Super
Thank you.
cool. Yeah.
It was a surprise.
Yeah, it was. Okay, well, hey, it's awesome.
It's a good surprise.
Yeah, for sure.
She'll be here in 4.5 months.
You guys have a name picked out?
Oh, yeah.
What?
Levi.
Levi?
Which means one who is loved, and then the middle name is Bodhi, which means enlightened.
Bodhi, Levi, Bodhi. That is really cool. Love it.
So we're going to call her Lolo Bodhi.
Lola Bodhi.
Yeah, Levi, my husband's Polynesian.
That's really cool.
So
it's really beautiful name.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's really cool. Yeah, it's a little bit better than I wanted to name, because our last name is Raymer, but we get a lot of Rammer. So I wanted to name Cash Rod so we could call him Rod Rammer. But that didn't
That's why you have to have another one.
Nope, not happening. Not happening. Janna, thanks again for coming on Sober Guy Radio. Yeah, folks, tune in. We have more shows coming out, so stay tuned for that. Coming to you live from Innovations in Recovery down in San Diego. Check it out, www.thatsoberguy.com for more information. Peace, love, respect. Keep your blood clean.